Hi, I'm Lee from I'm Here, I'm Queer, What the Hell Do I Read? And we're continuing our Gender 101 series with
Benji, and I'm gender variant.
So, hi. One of the things we wanted to talk about, thank you, is because I'm a dad and I walk around in the world and I do dad things, a lot of people, and I guess I present as a gender cis man. Is that the right way to say it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm learning, we're all learning. Is that people assume that I'm straight, and so I got this t-shirt that says legalize gay, and one of my very popular posts on my blog was my story of walking around town wearing this shirt, and suddenly everybody knew that either I was gay or I was super supportive of gay rights, and I got a lot of looks and a lot of feedback, and it gave me a little bit of insight into what it must be like to be a visible minority, to be black or to be Asian, to be something that is really perceived as other, and to have to deal with that all the time. And we were talking about that, Benji, because you really present as someone that is not totally in one camp or the other in terms of that male-female binary thing we were talking about, being gender variant. So you were telling me that there was a different kind of t-shirt that you knew about, right?
Yeah, there's one that also says legalize trans that is out there for anyone who wants to Google it and buy it.
Well, cool. I'll link to that on my site, and I can't wait to get one of those shirts
Awesome.
too. We wanted to talk about passing in queer femme. First of all, I don't know what the word queer femme means. Can you help me?
Sure. One of the, or I guess the very first person I ever met who used gender queer to describe themselves also, or describe herself, I suppose, described herself also as queer femme. And it's not an easily definable term, as all of these are not easily definable, but it's if she's wearing a skirt or a dress or makeup, people automatically write her off as cisgendered, similarly as someone who is not, is fairly gender conforming in their presentation, what might not get read as or perceived as gay. It's a similar sort of invisibility, and a lot of femmes don't get read as gay, and a lot of queer femmes don't get read as gender variant.
So it kind of feeds into that whole thing of don't make assumptions.
Yeah, definitely.
I remember I have some friends, and they, one woman had identified as a lesbian, and the guy had identified as a gay man, and because those were the relationships they'd been in, and then they met and they fell in love and realized that they actually were both bisexual, and yet suddenly they were presenting to the world as a straight couple, and that became really frustrating, a source of frustration for them, because by the other members of the gay community they weren't seen as being queer anymore, and yet inside them they really were. Yeah,
and there's a lot of that. There's a lot of folks who, whether they come from a gay couple and suddenly their partner comes out as trans and they get perceived as a straight couple, or other way around, they're a straight couple, partner comes out as trans, they're perceived as gay, and all these labels are sort of thrown up in the air, and they have to sort of see where they fall and see what's applicable to them and feels true to them. But a lot of it ends up, someone comes out through their gay coming out process, and it's very, a long haul for them, and then suddenly it turns out that their partner is trans, and where does their identity go from there? And so a term that I like promoting is transamorous, and it sort of gets away from the chaser label, which is not so, is a bit more pejorative, but someone who says, yeah, like I'm in love with someone who is openly trans, and that doesn't make me any less of the queer community.
I like transamorous. I also, because one of my things that I always say is that if you change the word homosexual, you took out the word sex in it, and you called it homolovual, wouldn't the world be a different place?
Yeah.
Because the focus is so much on sex, and really, I like the idea of it being on affect. And transamorous, that's pretty cool. But would transamorous really only apply to people that are open to being amorous with someone who is trans, or would it also, does it replace pansexual or panamorous? Maybe panamorous.
Yeah, I mean, it's what feels true to that person.
Hey, honestly. We're making up a new word right now, panamorous. Cool, thanks so much.